do a series for a while. It started out as a video I've been wanting to do for a while, but I think it's going to turn into a whole series. Eric kind of helped me with the name, like this much, not a whole lot. But it's going to be called like Never Should You Always. And the reason for that is because if you've been in any kind of martial art, not just jiu-jitsu, you're going to hear always do it this way, never do it this way. And after a while, those things should expire, those things should dissolve, and you should realize that like once you learn the rules well enough, you're going to break the rules eventually and bend them at least in a lot of different ways. One of the big ones that you'll hear whenever you first start out is maybe don't, or never in some cases, never cross your ankles on an arm bar, and or never cross your ankles here or there. So the crossing the ankles thing, I want to talk about that, maybe not debunk it, but just kind of critique it a little bit so that it's a little more specific, and this is when and when not to cross your ankles maybe. So if I start an arm bar on Eric, like if Eric's here and I've gotten to this arm bar, it doesn't matter how, and we get here. Now, yes, if you do old school, like generic movie quality arm bar where I just like straighten my legs and cross my ankles and go like this, yeah, don't do this. Like there's really never a good reason to do this. You can still break somebody's arm like this, but if they know anything, it's pretty easy for him to just shove my legs one direction or another. And yeah, like here like that and then start to come up. So yeah, maybe that's the case, but here's when it's okay to cross my ankles, right? First of all, why do instructors typically say don't cross your ankles or never cross your ankles here or there? And that's partly for that reason. One of the biggest reasons is because on an arm bar, the thing you should be focused on in a big way is taking out the range of motion of the shoulder in order to break the elbow. This is a hinge joint, but it's attached to this adjacent ball and socket joint, so whenever it's attached to that, the thing is like it gives a range of motion that he's going to be able to use to defend. So I need to be able to crush that, right? If you look at the full name, it's got a big long name in Japanese, something Hishigi, Jujikatami, something. There's a part of that name, Hishigi, I believe, that's dealing with crushing or compacting or restricting, and that's what we're doing to the shoulder. So a lot of instructors will want you to concentrate on the squeeze inward of your legs like this, so that whenever I squeeze, it takes that range of motion out. That's gonna make a tighter arm bar here. Now, a lot of times what will happen if you cross your ankles, you'll make your knees go the wrong way here, so there's not that crushing power, that squeeze or constriction. So that's why I think a lot of people will tell you don't cross your ankles. Now, as long as you understand that, you can still concentrate on the right squeeze of your legs to be able to get away with it. So let's look then at how we can get away with crossing our ankles across the board, whether it's above the shoulder, both arms in between, or underneath the shoulder. First of all, this is almost always safe and recommended, I would say, to whenever you have both arms inside, to cross your ankles. And so I'm gonna go here like this, and so I've got both ankles in. The reason that I would recommend this is because the way he's gonna defend, if I'm here and he's looking, yeah, so he's doing something like this, the tighter I pull, the stronger he's actually gonna get in the defense. So if I can bunch these arms up together and I use my legs to curl my heels inside like this, it's gonna bunch the arms up and it's gonna weaken his ability to defend this. And then I'm gonna be able to get that arm free and break that grip and be able to go for the arm bar. So whenever the arms are both in between the legs, do cross your ankles. You don't have to, but it's okay. What if they are underneath here, this way? Again, it's okay. It's okay to cross the ankles. Now, it does give him a little bit more freedom up here, so if he wants to sit up right here, it's gonna be a little bit stronger for him. But this is also okay. I'm gonna cross my ankles, I'm gonna pull my heels in nice and tight, squeeze here like this, and I can still get away with that arm bar there, right? So then, when is it? Is it above here then, right? Is this the time that it's bad to cross your ankles? Again, I think as long as you've got a good squeeze and a good pinch, if he wants to try to do something to defend this, maybe he pushes my legs off of his head. If I was too loose, it's still gonna be okay because I can go underneath his head and I can get away with this a lot of the time as well. So for those reasons, all the way across the board, I think it's okay to cross your ankles as long as you understand what it does and what it restricts and what it enhances, right? So that's the big thing. Now, let's talk about, what about from the guard? Because I heard this one a lot too. If we get here, I go for an arm bar from the guard, some way like this. Now, again, I don't want to open the space here so that he can pull his arm straight out. If I am too loose here like this, he'll pull the arm out and I lost the arm bar. But as long as I understand like that I need the constriction sometimes. So two different cases. When I'm here like this, if If Eric is trying to pull his arm out, then I want to have a bite here. This is more important than crossing my ankles. So one of the most important things right here, if he wants to pull his arm out, is that I have a good squeeze and a good bite right here with my legs. They may cross accidentally or incidentally, but the main thing here is that I'm keeping him compacted down, not allowing him the space to pull that arm out. So now I'm able to finish that arm bar from here. Now, when can I cross my ankles from here? A good time to do it is if he's trying to stack me, because if he's trying to stack me, the bite here doesn't matter as much. So this is a good time for me to cross my ankles, because what this will do is it's gonna flare my knees out intentionally, and then that right there, as I lift my hips. Now, if he wants to stack me, it's much harder. If he wants to pull his arm out, it's very difficult, and I'm gonna still wind up getting this. So connecting my two ankles, flaring out like this to make frames here and here. It also brings my hips in closer to his shoulder. That actually makes the arm bar stronger. So again, that's a good time to cross your ankles. So this isn't necessarily an arm bar situation, but one of the other times, one of probably the first times you might hear don't cross your ankles is when you're on someone's back. So if I've got the back here and I've taken Eric's back like this, they'll tell you don't cross your ankles. Why do they tell you don't cross your ankles? A big reason is he throws his leg on top of mine like this, and then he starts to extend his hips. He's gonna try to break my ankle, and he can break my ankle like that. Or if we go belly down sometimes and I have my ankles crossed, it can also like hurt and snap my ankles. You've seen this happen a whole lot in rolling and competition. Even in MMA, I've seen it a couple times where the guy went belly down with ankles crossed, and the guy on top here that could have gotten the choke, he had to wind up tapping. It's got to be really humiliating, but I feel bad for them. So, is it okay then to cross your ankles here? Yes, because I know what exists here, right? And this gives me some good control sometimes. So, if we go here, I don't feel like I have the best attack options in the first place being directly in line with Eric. So when I take his back and I fall to the side, I'm gonna try to cross my ankles, but they're gonna be off to an angle this way, or I'm gonna be trapping his arm, crossing my two ankles here like this. There's no way he's getting his leg up on top of it. He's not gonna generate enough pressure with his hands or anything else to be able to snap my ankles. So I'm not worried about it if I cross my ankles up this high. This is perfectly fine to do in my opinion. Or if I have the ability to, then I'll get a body triangle here this way. If my legs and his body fit, we'll go for the body triangle. Again, that's crossing and it's perfectly fine to do. So what though, if I was lazy though, if I am lazy about it and I do cross my ankles right in front of him, giving him good access to be able to throw his leg up and over, this is gonna be bad here. So this is where he can start to break my ankles. Well, here's a trick that it can help kind of save you. So go ahead and do that here. For him to be able to snap my ankles right now, he has to bridge and extend his hips, right? There, right? So it makes it very difficult for him to bridge like that if I just do this. I'm gonna push his head forward here like this. So if he wants to go and bridge, it's not gonna happen anymore. And eventually he's gonna have to unlock his ankles, and then we'll go back and then I won't make that mistake again. Hopefully this kind of gives some clarity to the absolutism of, always do this or never do this. So this is about kind of reevaluating the whole concept of never cross your ankles in these certain positions, whether it's mounted armbar or armbar from the guard or taking the back and crossing your ankles there. There are times that not only is it acceptable, but it's encouraged to cross your ankles as long as you understand the rules. I think I always mess up this quote from Picasso, but I think it's something along the lines of learn the rules as a professional and break them as an artist. Something along those lines, but the idea is that once you learn the rules well enough, you understand when it's appropriate to break or bend or modify those rules. So anyway, I hope that you like this video, guys. I'm gonna have more in this series, hopefully, about the never, should you, always kind of situations. If you have something that you've been told, leave it in the comment section about, I was told never do this or always do this. And let's see if together we can kind of like debunk some of these things, or at least reevaluate them to find out why that exists if you don't understand completely, or why it might actually be good to take the opposite advice. So anyway, make sure if you haven't already, check out Synergy Martial Arts on all the social media stuff. Follow them on YouTube. Eric's putting up some great video content, and he's gonna have a Patreon soon, and Synergy Martial Arts on Instagram, on Facebook. And yeah, I appreciate Eric Lance having me up here at Synergy, and keep watching that Jiu-Jitsu channel, guys. Thanks.